priming the model with a smooth layer of matte black using my airbrush, I move on to a base coat. I apply a couple of thin, even layers of deep sea blue over Bulbasaur's body. Working in thin layers helps preserve all the sculpted details while giving me a solid, consistent foundation on which to build highlights and shadows later on. Next, I turn my attention to the bulb on Bulbasaur's back, along with the surrounding vines and leaves. I base coat all of these areas with forest green, again using thin, controlled layers. This gives me a strong, natural green foundation while keeping the surface smooth and the details crisp. With the base coat in place, I move on to defining the midtone using Aqua Alchemy. Rather than blending this color smoothly into the base coat, I apply it in deliberate, clearly separated shapes. I focus on the upward-facing planes of the body, areas like the tops of the arms and legs, the shoulders, and the broader, rounded surfaces that would naturally face the light source. Keeping the edges of this layer crisp is key, as those hard transitions are what give cel shading its graphic, animated look. At this stage, I'm thinking less about smooth transitions and more about light logic. Each shape of Aqua Alchemy represents a distinct step up in brightness, helping to define Bulbasaur's form through contrast rather than gradient. If an area doesn't clearly face the light, I leave the deep sea blue exposed to maintain strong shadow separation. From there, I lighten the midtone by mixing nuclear white into the Aqua Alchemy to create my highlight color. Rather than softly blending this into the previous layer, I apply it in smaller, intentional shapes, deliberately reducing the surface area with each pass. These highlights are placed only in the most raised and forward-facing planes, reinforcing the direction of the light source and pushing the form in a clean, graphic way. Keeping the paint thin allows me to refine the edges and maintain sharp, controlled transitions, which is essential for preserving that crisp, cel-shaded look without the highlights becoming chalky or overbearing. With pure Warcry green, I begin cel shading the bulb. Instead of blending, I apply the color in clean, intentional shapes, placing it where I want the shadows to read. This creates that bold, graphic contrast, typical of a cel-shaded or animated style. I repeat this same process on the vines, and then begin lightly sketching in the markings on the leaves. At this stage, I'm more focused on mapping shapes and placement rather than perfect coverage, treating it more like a sketch that I can refine later. Returning to Bulbasaur's main body, I introduce even more nuclear white into the Aqua Alchemy mix to create a brighter final highlight. Using this mix, I continue blending the cel-shaded effect on the body by applying the paint in sharp, delivered shapes rather than soft blends. These smaller, higher contrast highlights are reserved for the most exposed planes, helping the light read instantly and pushing the stylized, animated look even further. I then mix a small amount of nuclear white into the Warcry green and continue cel shading the bulb, placing clean highlight shapes on the upper and forward-facing areas to increase contrast and dimensionality. I repeat this same approach on the vines and leaves as well, keeping the highlight shapes consistent so all of the plant elements feel unified and cohesive. Once that's done, I use pure nuclear white to add small points of light to the highlights on the bulb. These are placed sparingly at the brightest spots to sharpen contrast and add a subtle pop. I also add a small point of light on Bulbasaur's forehead, placing it on a raised, forward-facing area. This helps draw attention to the face and reinforces the direction of the light source. While you didn't see this part on camera, I airbrushed a smooth layer of Warcry green over the card face and followed that up with a light, mottled layer of livery green. which introduces subtle texture and variation, keeping the background visually interesting without distracting from the character. And I am now using nuclear white to carefully sketch in the eyes, making sure to leave a thin line of black around the edges. Preserving that outline helps the eyes read crisply. Next, I lay a base coat for the iris using brown skin, and then follow that up with a reduced layer of red truth, concentrating it toward the center to add contrast and depth. Using black stallion, I apply the pupil, shaping it into a subtle half moon with the flat edge tucked slightly under the upper eyelid. This helps the eye feel more natural and expressive. To finish the eyes, I carefully place a small point of light in each one. This final touch really brings the eyes to life. To address the tongue, I use blushing flesh as a base coat, applying it in thin, controlled layers. Mixing Cyber Yellow into Warcry Green, I add a bit of visual interest to the vines. I apply this selectively and then repeat the process on the leaves as well, following the natural texture of the sculpt so the highlights feel organic and intentional. Follow this up with a very concentrated layer of ice yellow on the leaves, focusing on the vines and outer edges. This really makes them pop and emphasizes their structure. Returning to my original base of deep sea blue, I lightly sketch in the small pockmarks across Bulbasaur's skin. These are kept subtle and irregular to add texture without breaking the clean, stylized look. Returning to the tongue, I use elven flesh to add a highlight, keeping the area small and focused on the most raised and front-facing portion. I then use nuclear white to pick out the teeth, and also apply a subtle highlight streak on the tongue as well to keep it slightly glossy. The backdrop behind Venusaur, I switch to Phantom Violet. This color provides a strong contrast to the greens while also typing into the poison-type vibes of Bulbasaur's evolutionary line. I also carry this Phantom Violet into the recessed border between the card face and the outer edge, helping frame the piece and keep the focus centered. Using Lollipop Magenta, I apply a couple of thin layers along the outer edge of the card. This will eventually be covered with yellow, but starting with a warm undercoat helps the yellow go on brighter and smoother. With Cyber Yellow, I complete the outer border. The pink underpaint beneath it really makes that yellow pop and keeps it vibrant rather than chalky. I'm also sure to apply the same Cyber Yellow to the small inner border surrounding Bulbasaur himself, helping frame the character and unify the overall design. To finish things off, I use Afterglow and a firm Q-tip to bring out the raised text on the card. The Q-tip catches just the highest points, and for any areas I can't reach, I switch to a fine brush and lightly graze the surface until I reach the opacity I want. And that is going to wrap it up for this piece. Thanks so much for watching and painting along with me. Whether you're just getting started or you've been in the hobby for a while, I hope you found something helpful to take into your own work. Huge thanks to Nostalgic 3D Models for the fantastic sculpt. Until next time, I am Nick from House of Paint, and I'll see you for the next one.